Hey Matthias, so I'm looking at the NXT right now, just doing a sort of analysis of this. So again, what I mentioned about us not finishing the downtrend, I think that's pretty obvious that we haven't finished the downtrend, or sorry, that there's no clear sign that we're out of the downtrend. So I really don't know why the trader said that. Of course, this might be the bottom of the downtrend. It might be the absolute bottom, but there's no clear sign that we're out of it. I mean, to be out of a downtrend, you need to have a high, a low, higher high, and higher low. And over here, we don't even have a higher low. Like we have a small move up here, and then, there's no telling what will happen when we come down. Um, that being said, we do have a lot of support in this area. So it is interesting to see like these wicks just pushing up from. So the 600 is where we sort of closed around there, and then we have wicks coming all the way down to 530. But three times we just pushed all the way right back up on the weekly time frame. So that's notable. That means that someone at this level, the 525, is saying no, like we're not going to break this level, and that's fairly convincing in the sense that if we do a long position from here, see, as a trader, I always want to see, well, at which point is my trade invalidated? And for this trade, it would be very hard to say that this trade is going to work out, or that our analysis is correct. In other words, that this is the bottom. If we break, let's say, if we break like the 475 or something, because of course, what often happens in the markets is that everyone is looking at this support over here at 529, and then it breaks and everyone sells like crazy, and then the whales just buy it up like even lower. So, I mean, that being said, I would probably even put it at like 500. Okay, so what is interesting about this, of course, is that if you do consider this as the stop loss zone, then this trade becomes very interesting because we've seen some absolute explosions in price. We literally just have to zoom out like this to see it. So it's like, even if we just get to sort of half of this last massive explosion, this is going to offer a, where is the risk to reward? 20 to 1, 19.81 to 1. So that's mental. That's huge. And from that perspective alone, I guess it might be worth to enter the trade. But it's a bit of a gamble, It's not like there is a strong sign that we are going to move up. It's just that there's a good sign that this is there's some reasonable probability that this is the bottom here. On the other hand, you have to realize that like, if this is the bottom, like we may come down to test it again. And if we do, that's already minus 27% on the trade. So that's not the end of the world. But I think that if we do enter this trade, or at least if I enter this trade, I would need to have a stop loss somewhere. And that would probably be around here. But then again, it's a gamble, It's not like, I don't understand why he said, oh, it's the end of the downtrend. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no end of the downtrend here. It's just a potential bottom of a downtrend here. And then he talks about volume picking up, and it's like, well, what volume is that exactly that you're speaking of? Look, that's volume over here. Now there's basically no volume at all. If we go to Netflix here, not Netflix, if we go to Next over here, even if you look at all the charts, you can't see any notable volume over here. There's this monster volume over there in 2018, but since then there's nothing. I mean, what about this chart says that it's at the end of a downtrend? Nothing, right? It's just that it might be at the very bottom of a downtrend. So I'm going to have to think about it a little bit more, but I do agree that if this pumps up, then the risk to reward could be awesome, assuming that we have a stop loss here, that we don't just say, oh, we're going to buy and never ever ever sell. I mean, I don't know what trader does that unless you're in a long-term hold and you really believe in the technology. But as a technical analysis trader, things can change anytime, and you have to adapt to new information. And it just seems crazy to not have any stop loss at all. But just I'm naturally a skeptical guy. I always ask a lot of questions, and and question what people are doing, why they're doing it. But please tell me what your opinion is on this, and yeah, just get back to me.